Oh man, that movie was great. I love that film. Didn't you, Galen?
I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Sienna Miller,
Yeah.
and I just always
Galen's
telling
a big
you,
fan.
Yeah, I am.
The critics, the elite Hollywood critics, just can't understand the nuance of a film like this. Normal people, when they see like ice falling downwards, they say to themselves, hey, doesn't ice float? Not in this movie it doesn't, because this movie is avant-garde. This is a big budget art house film. You know, what they were saying with the ice falling downwards is actually they were saying that you're so stupid that you don't know that ice doesn't fall, it floats because it's more buoyant than the water around it. But, you know, that's the statement of this film, the power of it. It's so powerful, it moved me so much, so deeply.
You know, some of the science quotes from the film, I don't want to let TJ get this one about emotions.
Yeah.
And then I'll take it from there.
You know, they had the boldness to make the statement, and rarely do you hear this statement in the halls of academia, mostly because it's not true, but that's not why, because they're just cowards in academia. And this movie had the courage to say that emotions, we cannot test for them scientifically, therefore they don't exist.
Pay attention to Joseph Ledoux or Antonio Damasio, Eric Kandel, please. Don't pay attention.
Neuroscience
doesn't exist.
G.I. Joe has successfully refuted centuries of neuroscience. It's
Cognitive science is gone. Enter G.I. Joe land.
psychology, neuroscience,
Hey. Yo, Joe!
neurophysics, none of that
Yeah.
can stand up to G.I. Joe.
You know, we need to get Rodolfo Linus, the neuroscientist, on this thing about how you basically give some kind of like stabbing motion to like a corpse, and you can retrieve images from them with a computer.
All you have to do.
I gotta get him on this.
I didn't know it was this simple. But all you have to do, like if Galen were to die, all I would have to do is stab his temples with these long prongs that are hooked up to a little like BlackBerry, and you can see all
nanotechnology ate my body.
as little nanobots eat his flesh, we can see his last moments on Earth. In case you don't know by now, we're being sarcastic. This movie is terrible. It's awful.
This movie, in my opinion, is worse than Transformers.
I don't know if it's worse.
And I will get into this, but let's go through the monstrosity of this movie.
I'll let Galen have some talking here.
It begins, and it's like centuries ago. And at the first of the movie, I just turned to... It was crowded in this movie theater with kids, and no one was excited. Like, people were making noises in Transformers. We were even...
Yeah,
this
like,
movie,
woo!
we were just like, oh.
Everyone's
And then
kinda
I
like-
was just like dead, and I just turned to him and was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What?
'cause the G.I. Joe opens like with this thing like France 1741 or some shit.
Those Scots.
And we're watching this like France 17... Are we watching G.I. Joe? Did we walk into the wrong movie? What the hell is going on here?
It's like you weren't even watching G.I. Joe. You were watching basically the original Star Wars trilogy. You were watching the new Star Wars trilogy. You were watching them with these suits from Batman Begins. And then there were other things from The Dark Knight. It's another one of these movies that steals from one film after another. I was like, wait a minute, Phantom Menace. I was going through like, yeah, that's where they got that scene, and that's where they got this one. These guys just sat around and jerk off to movies, and they were like, yeah, we can do this too, and we can rip them all off. And of course, Team America, the most obvious of all. I mean, are Trey Parker and Matt Stone suing over this?
They should sue. This movie has at least several scenes that immediately conjure... First of all, the plot is similar. An international peacekeeping force of elite soldiers
From around the world.
the Team America World Police, G.I. Joe. They blow up the Eiffel Tower just like in Team America. They have a scene where they're morphing someone's face just like in Team America. They have a car that has missiles coming out of the top of it just like Team America. This is insane. Two producers were sitting down and they were watching Team America World Police, and one said to the other, like, you know, Americans are so stupid.
This is another movie made on a fucking jet. This is another fucking movie.
We could make this movie seriously and people will actually go see
And one
it.
of them, it was probably over $1. Sienna Miller has basically already apologized for this, and I know that I'm giving in to the Megan Fox syndrome with Sienna Miller being an apologist for her and her acting in this. But she has apologized, and yes, I do want to Sienna Miller, but that's beside the point.
No, it's
okay.
not.
Yeah, it is.
She was terrible. Everyone was terrible.
She was fun. She was
Everyone
not that
was
bad.
terrible. She was playing an evil character. Yet
maybe I am going for Megan Fox syndrome. That's probably true. But
she exuded no menace.
She apologized for the movie. That means something. She still has her respect.
That's like punching someone in the stomach and apologizing. Oh, sorry.
Still, through this movie, you kept seeing Sienna Miller's boobs, and she's in like these leather outfits and everything.
You were disturbed by that, weren't you, Galen?
Yeah, but think of all the little kids,
Yeah, those...
Family safe.
I don't care, man. If I was a little kid, I would have loved this movie. All it is bright colors, big explosions, and boobs.
Tits and legs, and look, it's Sienna Miller's thighs. Woo.
And karate. Badly choreographed fight scenes. Badly choreographed everything. Was it just me, or was the CG in that movie really awful? Like, everything looked like a cartoon.
It was ripped off. It was like the day the earth stood still. I thought we should have stayed after the credits to see Keanu Reeves saying, "I have come back, and I'm going to let the human race destroy itself."
And we're jumping around a lot. We're not really doing this in linear order, but we're just kind of...
There's so much. It's a big whip-off.
What about the scene where Marlon Wayans, what was his name in the movie? Like Ripcord or something?
Ripcord, yeah.
Ripcord. He gets in this jet that he's never flown before. He's like, I can fly anything. There's these two missiles, and they're going in different directions. And they say they're going Mach 5, and no jet on Earth can catch them. Yet he is able, in this jet,
I'm going to go to Moscow. And I'm going to get back to D.C.
And then back to Washington, D.C.
And then when the nanobots eat my jet, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bail. When it goes into the atmosphere.
No, but he flies it for like an hour after the nanobots are eating it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to keep flying. Hopefully it won't eat it as fast as it eats everything else.
Don't do it! Don't do it! And then they're like, yo, Joe! I was pulling for G.I. Joe to lose in this movie and everybody to fucking die and the nanobots to win and everything would be like, yeah, the human race is over.
They've got these nanobots that eat everything. And they're trying to get it to the Eiffel Tower. Why? You could shoot it anywhere in France, and it will eat all of France, no matter where it goes off.
This movie made me want to see Team America again. I give it credit for that.
Why would you need to shoot the Eiffel Tower?
Comes down.
Why? But there's no purpose in shooting the Eiffel Tower when you can shoot anywhere, and it will have the same exact effect.
By the way, I just want to get something straight. I've been calling for this movie for a quarter of a year, going back to back in March or April or something when I first saw some advertisement for this film, just saying that this was Team America. So I get dibs first.
Now let's talk about the racism for a second. Once again, in one of these big Hollywood movies, Marlon Wayans, the black guy, is portrayed as being like this bumbling idiot who doesn't read and doesn't understand things. And he's just like, woo, yeah!
Also,
they put him in the Delta 5 accelerator suit, which is the stupidest thing in the world anyway.
This is military. There's no military order. People are just kind of going around, doing stuff, and they're kind of hanging around like, hey man, y'all follow in line, and whoa, yeah, that's cool, let's talk some jokes. And
the guy's like, be careful, Delta 5 accelerator suits are expensive. He's like, okay, Spence, a guy, oops, fell down, ha ha ha! It's because I'm black and stupid. And then later on, the other guy's like, you should have read the instruction manual. He's like, there's an instruction manual?
Holy crap.
Oh, lordy, lord, I didn't know there was no instruction manual, massa.
I wrote this to Mannix the Pirate during the film. I said, watching G.I. Joe, it blows. It glorifies the fucking military, big government, nationalism, war, violence. It is a racist, sexist piece of shit. Worse than Transformers 2.
The invincible Hummer, that it hits a bus and the bus flies off the road.
I also like it. Here's a great scene in the movie. It's like, okay, the Scarlet character is invisible, okay? She's invisible, and then the Baroness just throws something at her. And then she's gets it all over. How did she know where to throw it at her?
Yeah, what about the Delta 5? You know the Delta 5 accelerator suits?
This
these suits that can jump through trains and jump over buildings and stuff, and yet all this Asian guy has to do to defeat it is throw some spaghetti sauce at it. It's like, oops, spaghetti sauce. The only design flaw. No.
When I was looking at, there were so many.
What about the scene in the SUV when they're running over the cars and they got the little thing in the front that wedges the cars up and they do this 300 spins in the air?
Oh, yeah. What was making the cars spin? I want to know that. What was making the cars just go? you know, with different explosions. Like, wait a minute, that didn't explode. Why are the cars coming back still? And then Storm Shadow there are all these explosions. He's wearing a white suit and he's completely clean. He was cleaner than Megan Fox was in Transformers 2. What the hell?
How do you keep a white suit clean in a
And it's all neat and adjusted, like he had just got it. Everything is nice and neat.
Like he just walked out of the suit
Hi,
store.
sir. How are you?
You know another thing we gotta talk about though is the terrible costume designs in that movie.
Oh, and the Storm Shadow's like ninja suit, and it's like in white, and then and they even made Snake Eyes look bad.
Yes, why did Snake Eyes look so lame? He looked cool in the comic book, he looked cool in the cartoon. Why does he look like a freaking imbecile?
You even make Snake Eyes look bad.
But what was the worst thing though was those stupid costumes that the soldiers for the Cobra soldiers had.
That was all
weird,
dumb.
like skull eyes. They look like the Donnie Darko bunny suit.
I really couldn't stand when they had the mechanized suits, which Wayans was going on about so much that you had talked about. How it was such a ripoff from Batman Begins. This movie just steals from so many films. They just were like, we're just gonna steal from movies. Like I said, there were scenes from like at the end with Storm Shadow versus Snake Eyes. This was the Phantom Menace. I was like, what?
It was
They're
like
doing the same thing, except with not lightsabers.
You kept expecting Duel of the Fates to start playing.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, and then at the end when you find out that the guy who was the evil scientist who had Cobra Commander's voice the whole movie turned out to actually be Cobra Commander. Go figure.
And then he puts it's like
his
Revenge
costume,
of the Sith at the end, and he puts the thing on.
He looks like a retarded Darth Vader.
You thought it was like the Emperor and Darth Vader.
His mask looks so lame. You could see that it was made of plastic. Watching it in the movie, like, why? That was the best.
And then he has that voice at the end that's even like.
Yeah, like he had a cool voice throughout the whole movie, and then they made it lame at the end.
I am Cobra Commander. And the explanation of the movie of the why he turned evil, it's like he was on this mission, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, man, you into nanotechnology. This is some deep stuff. I'm gonna take over the world. Yeah.
It's like this character who, up until this point, you were like, is a good character, and then like he just sees like this nanotechnology, and something snaps in his brain, and instantly he's evil. Like,
you know what? I knew I should have been looking at the Forsyth Institute. I knew it.
And all this terror of science in the movie, like, for science, sacrifices must be made.
Oh, they keep talking about science.
Is so evil.
Yeah, they keep talking about science through this whole movie, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe if you guys had actually gone to a science class, you know that ice floats, and you know that yes, emotions can be tested for.
This movie is a monstrosity of stupidity. It's a way. I recently just went to see the Harry Potter film, which I agree with TJ. It's a really good film, and I saw it. Unlike him, I saw it IMAX 3D. One of the best experiences and I've ever gone to see a film. And after Transformers 2, that disgusting piece of filth, I felt renewed to go to the movies again. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And you know, now I'm like, this is why I don't go to the movies, G.I. Joe. This is garbage. And anyone who defends this movie,
I think Tool Time should be a little ashamed of his almost positive review where he's like, it wasn't so bad. Yes, it was.
Well, you know, and
what are you talking about?
Even Roger Ebert should be ashamed of himself. He made, you know, even him should be ashamed of saying that this movie is not as bad as Transformers 2. Because
I don't think it is.
It is worse. It is worse. You know, the only thing that was good about the movie...
Hold on. All right, you say why you think it's worse, and then I will say why I think it's not as bad.
Okay. The scenes in Transformers 2 were so fucking horrible. Like with, you know, Megan Fox, oh, you don't die! And all this, it was so bad. It was like, wow, look how horrible this is. Oh my god. And everything. And it was like, wow, that is so fucking stupid. You know, it's like, whoa. In this movie, it's kind of like, I was just... Do your impression of me in the movie theater. Do it. Do it right.
Now, Galen was sitting in front of me because we couldn't find two seats together because this thing was packed. But this is Galen. Every time I looked over at Galen, like 90% of the time, he was like this.
Yeah, I just was buried in my head. It was, I just couldn't bear. I was like, why do I have to go through this? This is hard.
Now, I will tell you why I don't think it's as bad as Transformers.
Give me a redeeming value of this movie.
Okay.
Transformers had a redeeming value that it sucked. that bad and different scenes were so stupid.
Alright, shut the fuck up for a second. Let me give you my explanation here. Now, in terms of plot, they're equally terrible. Both of them have overly convoluted, nonsensical plots that no one could possibly follow, yet are still simple and stupid. Okay? They had equally bad special effects, they had equally bad acting, they had equally bad everything. But the one thing that Transformers had, I mean the one thing that Transformers lacked that this movie actually had, was that at least the action sequences involved human beings.
Well, wait a minute, you just said Sienna Miller. What did the human beings? Dennis Quaid suck? They were horrible.
I know, they were terrible, but at least they were in the action scenes. At least when people were fighting, it was people fighting and not stupid-ass robots.
Look, the special effects were worse in this movie.
When Optimus Prime gets punched in the face, I don't care. At least when a person gets punched in the face, I'm like, well, I can conceivably see how that would hurt.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. There was this whole, like, it's just like Transformers, but only worse. Another reason why this is worse than Transformers. You can just go up to anything, the great military bases, and it's buried in this Hera in Egypt and by the pyramids. All these movies by this director are all like The Mummy, with the same kind of thing. Anyway, but they all just come right in. It's like, and there's no security. You have like the greatest military force in human history. And what happens? No security whatsoever.
Okay,
I wonder why.
Here's how hard it is to break into G.I. Joe's base. You and 3 people and like 10 soldiers getting some drills that were actually ripped off of Ninja Turtles, if you remember. Remember how Shredder used to go around in those drill thing, those like elevators with drills on top? They go in through some of those, they break right into the base, no one notices that these huge things have just drilled into the base. They walk down the hall, they kill the general's secretary, but mysteriously leave the general alive for no particular reason.
Oh yeah, and then he sounds the alarm.
Yeah, like, leave him alive so he can be a threat to us later.
Of course there's not much blood in this movie, even though people are like being stabbed through their bodies and ripped open. It's like, wow, there's no gore. Oh my gosh. I got another really, really bad point for this movie. They keep having Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow going back to Asia
not just
with everything.
And
at the temple, it's like they're ripping off the Kung Fu series, and it's kind of like to remember back when the origin of this battle between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Oh, and you know what it's about? It's because Snake Eyes got a higher grade on his score. Oh, so he had to kill people for the rest of his life and murder and bring destruction to the world.
Yeah, because all the other senseis like, Snake Eyes, you are my top student.
Yes.
And Storm Shadow's like, no, I'm gonna go conquer the world now.
And kill people.
I'm gonna kill people for a living because you pissed me off by saying he was your favorite.
Oh,
Every fucking 10 minutes there was another flashback to some stupid, pointless nonsense.
This movie, I'm just going to start one thing off right here. This film, beginning of this movie is like you're starting to watch a sequel, and then they're trying to explain stuff, and that's pretty much goes on the whole movie. And then you're trying to care for the characters, but at the end, I'm like, no, I hope they all die.
I think that Nanobots should have been released in the theater full of all of us stupid people who paid to see this movie. You know, like, in a real movie, when there is a flashback, you know, it has some purpose. You know, none of these flashbacks were necessary.
And all they kept doing was make out scenes and stuff.
I know, like, what about that one scene where they didn't trust Sienna Miller's acting skills to convey that she was feeling regret, so they kept intersplicing her face with, like, images from the past so that the dumb audience would understand what was going on? You know what? Recently on Wolf Blitz, the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, comedian Bill Maher said that he thought that America was a stupid country, and the phones lit up and everyone's like, we ain't stupid, and Bill O'Reilly chimed in and said, well, Bill Maher's a pinhead because America's a nation of smart people. Well, you know what? Go watch this movie and tell me that with a straight face. Anyone who thinks that we are a nation of intelligent people, go watch this film and then come to me and tell me with a straight face, looking me right in the eyes, that we are a nation of intelligent people. Because a nation of intelligent people aren't entertained by this drivel.
This glorifies everything that's bad. It is a glorification of war and nationalism, of bigotry and sexism. This movie is another pile of shit It's force-fed to a bunch of cogs, and that's what the people who are watching this are. And it takes away from the art of the cinema and everything I like about going to movies. It's everything wrong with the world. You know, going through this movie and seeing, you know, the kids fight and everything, and it's like Matrix for kids with, you know, I was just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in watching children fight with swords and beat each other up.
I am. I thought that was kind of cool.
You actually like that?
It
went on forever!
I like when the kids are fighting. That was actually kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, kick the shit out of that other kid.
Beat them.
That was actually one of the few moments in that movie I'm like, okay, that ain't so bad. I'll say this one thing about the movie, and I don't know if Galen's going to agree with me on this or not. Probably not. I will say, if you're like 10 years old, I can understand liking this movie. Because it's everything a kid likes. It's bright colors, big explosions, lots of violence, lots of boobs, and asses and thighs.
Where's the plot structure of this film?
I don't know. I'm just saying that if you're a kid, I can understand liking it. So, I mean, like, if you want to take your kids to see it, your kids will probably fucking love it. But if you're an adult and you actually like this movie, then I think you should put a gun to your head and blow your fucking brains out.
I concur.
Alright. So, the movie sucks, as you probably guessed from the title of this thing and our 78 minutes of complaining about it. So,
Halcyon out, and Amazing Atheist, you take this one.
peace, the fiddlesticks out.